Now I'll start with today's session. So this is the last session, 8F. Uh, Dear authors and invited guests, welcome to the technical session 8F. My name is Siddhyauti and I'll be your moderator for today's session on behalf of the Global Knowledge Research Foundation. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the ninth International Congress on Information and Communication Technology ICICT 2024. The ninth edition of the conference is being organized in hybrid mode. The physical event was organized in London on 19th and 20th Feb 2024, and the virtual event is being held today and yesterday on 21st and 22nd Feb 2024. I hope you all will enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive session throughout the presentations. In this session, we will be having seven presentations. So there are seven presenters, and each presenter will be given a time span of 12 minutes. 3 minutes and again 3 minutes for the Q&A session. So I'll raise a gentle reminder after 10 minutes of the presentation, as we have a time constraint. So I'll be notifying about the time. And also there is another request to all the participants that you all stay connected till the closing remarks. And if you have any query or update any technical issue, you can contact me in the chat box and I'll be solving those issues. Now, just before we get started with the session, I would want to introduce the session chairs for this session. So our first session chair is Dr. Bharat Singh Diora. Dr. Bharat Singh Diora has over 25 years of experience in the field of computer science as a faculty researcher, software developer, and project guide. He is presently working as Senior Assistant Professor in Department of Computer Science and IT of JRN Rajasthan Vidyapit University. Dr. Diora is also a member of various national and international bodies like CSI Computer Society of India, ISTE, Indian Society of Technical Education, and IEEE, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. So I welcome Dr. Bharat Singh to this session. Sir, if you're present in the session, please let me know. Just welcome.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Yes, we start the session.
Yes. We will be starting within a minute. And the
Okay.
next session chair for today's session is Professor Renata Mekovic. Professor is an associate professor at the University of Zagreb at the Faculty of Organization and Informatics. She is the head of Information System Development and member department of Computer and Technology. She is a researcher, lecturer, and IT expert. Renata, an expert in the field of personal data protection and e-service quality, as well as the evaluation of e-service quality. Her research interest in the fields of privacy and personal data protection, e-service quality and evaluation of e-service quality, e-service users' perception of privacy and e-service quality. Welcome, ma'am, to the session.
Thank you very much for invitation.
Now we'll start with the participants. So the first participant of today's session is A.B. Sinchev, sir, and they will be presenting on the topic algorithm based on the subset sum problem for high performance computing. I request Sinchev, sir, if you're present in the meet, to please start with your presentation.
Yes, thank you very much for passing the grounds. Let me share the screen.
Yes, I'll stop sharing mine.
Yeah, okay. So let's check if you can see the screen.
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
Yeah, thank you. It is our pleasure to present algorithm based on the subset sum problem for high performance computing. So we present a polynomial solution of the subset sum problem with time complexity t less or equal O of k times n, which in turn less or equal O of n squared, and space complexity s less or equal to O multiple n minus 1 multiple 10 divided by 2, which in turn are less or equal O of n squared. If I'm allowed, I will not transcribe the formulas in the further presentation in order to save our time, and just refer to the number of the formulas. The solution is based on a newly proposed initial set index management system and has a various application, for example, for scheduling problems, graph problems, queries to databases, and others. Subset sum is defined as a given set of distinct non-negative integers x of power n and a value sum certificate s, and we need to determine if there is a subset x of power k of the given set that equals to the given sum. We call it certificate s. It has been established that this problem refers to NP complete class problems, and complete refers to the property of being able to simulate everything or any other problem of NP complete class of the same complexity class. The polynomial solution is not just a question of a practical implementation, but it also has a very significant scientific novelty because it gives a significant advancement towards obtaining answer to the question, one of the most outstanding questions probably in the computer science, namely whether NP equals P. Up to the best of our knowledge, there are a number of algorithms already provided, including exponential, pseudo-polynomial algorithms. There are exhaustive search methods based on divide and conquer principle. And to the best of our knowledge, our algorithm, polynomial time solution, is the fastest one up to today. We offer here, in order to make to understand the algorithm, we offer a parameterized form for subset sum problem. Yes, there are several standard subset sum problem statements, but here we are providing a parameterized form according to the formula 1. Well, there exists a subset x of power k to the power x of to the power n, my goodness, such that the sum of the elements, xi within the subset x to the power of k equals s. The subset x to the power of k can be selected based on the combination function. This is a standard combination function. Indeed, combination by 2 is the subset by 2, is a subset of sum of 2 elements of the initial set. We also provide a data representation in terms of problem statement provided, parameterized problem statement. We introduce a subset of partial sums z to the power of L, which is again can be understandable. Why? Because the combination is the combination by 2, for example. Combination by 3 is in turn is the sum of 3 elements of the initial set. So we can call them, and it is easy to understand, a partial sum, and give a name z of L. Okay, so according to the formula 3, and which very important, we also introduce a subset of index combinations. Each element of the initial set has its index. Before we worked with it as an address to the element. Now, as we are working with partial sums, we say there are subsets of index combinations according to the formula 4. So it is much easier to understand when we see it in a form of triangle two-dimensional matrix. And here you can see first element of, first element of the subset z to the power of L would be x1 plus x2. And second element x1 to plus 3, and so on and so forth, until the last element xn minus 1 plus xn. So this is a matrix number 5. And with respect to this subset, we can easily create a subset of indexes. To do so, it is enough to apply the concatenation operator and attach the number 1 to the elements of the set n of the power of n. And you can see this matrix 6, it is like 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, the second line 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, and so on till the last element n minus 1, n. And finally, we can come to a subset of index combinations s to the power of L that we call partial index certificates, which has a direct one-to-one correspondence to the matrix 5, and we will see it later. And it is also easy to do. It's just like a sum of indexes, like 1 plus 2 first element, 1 plus 3 second element, and so forth until the last element of this subset, n minus 1 plus n. Here we also show that it is easy to construct matrix for k equals 3. And the only thing I would like to note here is that a simple way to construct matrix 8 is to add element x1 to the element of matrix 5. It is here on the second line, and it would be like x1 plus x2, x plus 3. And x2 starting from the third line, that would be like, here we can see, whatever. And it is very effective when you do recursive storing in terms of finding a solution for different cases. And appropriately, we built matrices for index combinations and as so-called partial index certificates. Here, as you can see on the screen, these are matrices 9 and 10. So here, before continuing, we need to understand that there is a one-to-one correspondence of two subsets. As I said, subset of partial sums Z of L and subset of index certificate S of L. And you can easily see it here. It's like a one-to-one correspondence of the first element here, 1 plus 2 here, and to the first element Z of L, x1 plus x2. That's very important because we are working with indexes. And by doing so, we are decreasing the time and space complexity. So the proposed problem statement 1 is directly related to two-dimensional matrices 5 and 8, as I showed before, for k equals 2 and 3. In case if k more or equals 4, it is possible to construct matrices similar to matrices 5 and 8 related to the problem statement 1. Now, after I hope that up to now it was more or less understandable, and now we can come up to a novel approach that we are proposing in terms of managing an index management system to solve problem 1 and construct a framework to manage set of indexes x of n. For this purpose, we propose an auxiliary problem on index certificates subsets that can be parameterized in the statement as per formula 12. Auxiliary problem excludes when you work with indexes with the subset of indexes, you of course exclude the accuracy parameter p, a bit representation of elements of the initial set. And in simple words, you exclude the variety of possibilities of the elements of the initial elements. Why? Because you are working only with indexes. That's easy to understand. And we also wanted to note that despite the fact that it is not in that presentation and in the article, but we have established a functional relationship between given certificate S of the initial problem and proposed certificate index certificate S to the power k, as well as we accurately determine the potency or cardinality of the subset x of power k, which in turn significantly simplifies the problem-solving process and its time and space complexity too. So now we need to, as now we're working with index certificates, we need to obtain to calculate a number of unique index certificates because it directly relates to time and space complexity of the algorithm. Here, according to the combination function 2, it's again standard combination as I showed on the second slide. we have the range z minimum to the power of k, z maximum to the power of k, and we can determine both of them. And it is assumed that the set x to the power of n is already sorted in ascending order, so that the subset z to the power of L can be selected according to the formula 14. So same to the subset of index certificate according to the formula 16. Now notice that the range 15 describes only unique certificates, and now we can determine a number of unique index certificates, and we call them MK. So here it is a formula 17, and it defines a number of unique index certificates. Let's just note that a number of unique certificates is much less than number of possible combinations. And inequality 18 here shows the high efficiency in terms of algorithm execution time and required space. Now we provide lemma and the proof in order to correctly calculate needed time and space. Let s to the power of k belong to the ranges that we already determined together, and there is a one-to-one correspondence of the subsets z of L and s of L. Then required time t to select subsets n to the power of k and x to the power of k, and required space satisfies the condition t less or equal O of k multiplied by n, which in turn less or equal O of n squared, and s less or equal O multiplied n minus 1 multiplied n divided by 2. So the proof, the fact that certificate S belongs to the range 13, and by the way, if it doesn't belong to the range 13, then there is no solution to the problem. This means that a given certificate S has no solution within the given set of initial elements. Ensures the fulfillment of inequality 14 and the existence of a partial sum Zj that so that S equals Zj. The fact that the index certificate S to the power of k is in the range 15 again means that S to the power of k satisfies inequality 16, and there exists within unique index certificate Sj to the power of k. So that Sj to the power of k equals to the S to the power of k. Yeah. Yes, these given conditions allow us to find k and construct triangle two-dimensional matrices. In turn, pairs Zj, Sj satisfies the corresponding condition 11 between the subsets Z to the power of L and S to the power L. Frankly speaking, it would be easier to understand later on the example. We will just in a minute. The only thing we need to stop here is the corollary, because it shows the required time and space to the examples when k is equal to 2 and k equals to 3. So here is an example, and it is easy to understand. We have initial set of indexes. I don't see them myself, but nevertheless, of 8 elements. And let S equals 53, and let's find for the potency k equals 2. So it is very easy to construct a matrix 5 within the given elements.
Sir, extremely sorry to interrupt you in
yes, only 2
middle.
minutes. The example is the
Yes,
last slide.
sure.
Yeah. So we have matrix 5 constructed as follows. First element is the sum of first 2 elements of the initial set. Based on that, we can construct matrix of indexes 1, 2, and finally matrix of index certificates. It is easy to see. It's like 1 plus 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And now we can see in this example that there is an element that equals 53 and a corresponding index certificate 8 here. And the only thing we need to do is to check the diagonal of this matrix that is equal to 8. Here you can see on the screen from the condition 11 of the correspondence, we have that there is a S equals 53 and there is S2 is a corresponding index certificate 8. And the only thing that we need to do is to decompose 8 index certificate into 172635, which means that the possible solution of this problem lies within the elements x1, x7, x3, x5. And as you may see that the time complexity is less or equals O13, and which in turn less or equals O16, which is much very effective. And as I said before, as far as we defined a functional relationship between a given certificate S and the index certificate here by the matrix 21, and then it also simplifies the solution process and makes it even faster. The general idea of this presentation was, to give general approach and understanding how to work with indexes despite working with elements of the initial set, and by doing so, to make it more effective and to find the solution to a complete NP-complete class problem, subset sum. In further publications, we will also provide, of course, this direct relationship, functional relationship between given certificate S or given certificate S and proposed index certificate S to the power of K. And also we will propose how we find the cardinality of the subset X to the power of K, the target subset. And they significantly increases the time speed of the solution of the algorithm, even according to the results that we provided today. In case if you have any questions, I will be glad to answer. And I'm sorry for my English. I tried as much as I could. That was difficult, right? Again, this is very simple. So we have initial set. We do combination. By the combination function, we do the combination by 2, 3, and it is matrix 19. But we don't work with the initial elements, we work with indexes. But as we are doing combinations, we have to make combination of indexes, right? And this is matrix 20. It's a subset of 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, but we need to come up to index certificate. It's a partial sum of indexes. When you 1 plus 2 makes 3, 1 plus 3 makes 4. And these are unique indexes, first. And second, they have one-to-one correspondence to the subset Z to the power of L to the of the matrix 19. That's it. That's easy to understand. The only thing you need to do is to find index certificate and to search through the diagonal this element belongs to. That's it. That is why it is so effective.
Thank you so much, sir, for your presentation.
Yeah,
Now,
thank you.
if there aren't any questions, can I please proceed to the next presenter?
Next.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
So the next presenter for today's session is Mr. Heyul Kavez, sir. If you are present with us, can you please start with your presentation? And his paper title is Development of a Low-Cost Device for Respiratory Frequency Measurement and Anomaly Detection. Heyul, sir, if you're with us, please let us know.
I can share my screen.
Okay, I'll stop sharing mine and then you will be able to share your screen. So you may start with the presentation now. Just a gentle reminder again, please consider the time constraint. Just try to wrap up your presentation within a time limit of 12 minutes. Thank you.
Hello everyone, My name is Edith Chavez, and today I will present the paper Development of a Low-Cost Device for Respiratory Frequency Measurement and Anomaly Detection. Uh, in medical environments, this monitoring of respiratory frequencies paramount for evaluating patients' pulmonary health. Nonetheless, current measurement methodologies predominantly rely on manual techniques, consuming valuable times and very susceptibility to inaccuracies. Particularly in critical scenarios such as intensive care triage, there is a pressing need for more efficient and automated solutions. Continuous monitoring of respiratory frequency holds the potential to significantly enhance patients' quality of life. This is particularly salient in the realm of sleep monitoring, where it facilitates early detection of conditions like sleep apnea. Our primary objective is to engineer a cost-effective device to automate respiratory frequency monitoring while enabling early anomaly detections. In the current state of the art, traditional methods such as hand placement on the chest or nose to count breath per minute prevalent. This approach is simple and cost-effective. However, is it prone to errors and does not facilitate continuous monitoring. Additionally, accelerometers are utilized to measure respiratory frequency by detection body movement. Uh, Furthermore, there are specialist high-cost devices available for this purpose. The main contribution of this work focused on the implementation of a low-cost respiratory frequency monitoring system. Figure 1 illustrates the essential elements for respiratory frequency measurement. The audio capture, in this stage, the respiratory audio signal is captured through the microphone, including variation associated with breathing. Audio amplification amplifies the captured audio signals to enhance visibility and facilitate further processing. Digital analog converter converts the amplified analog signal into a digital signal for subsequent processing. The filter applies filters to eliminate unwanted noise and highlight relevant characteristics of the respiratory signal. Envelope waveform extract the envelope waveform of the filtered signal, providing a clear representation of respiratory variations. Signal analysis conduct an analysis and processing of the signal for feature extraction. It obtains respiratory rates and anomalies, process the obtained values, calculate the respiratory frequency, and detect any anomalies such as sudden change, pauses, or irregular page patterns. The hardware design, we use a MAX 4466 audio sensor. This is a microphone amplifier that converts air pressure variation into electrical signals. ESP32 microcontroller. It is a low-power, high-performance microcontroller with wireless communication capability for data transfer such as Bluetooth. A LED screen is a display screen that allows real-time presentation of collect information. Figure 3 shows the component used for the project implementation, and the figure 4 illustrates the position from which the audio signal was obtained and the connection of the stethoscope with the microphone. Well, the signal processing, the processing begins with the capture the audio signal using the MAX 4466 audio sensor. The obtained analog signal is converted to digital using the integrated analog to digital converter in the ESP32 with a resolution of 12 bits. Subsampling says only the variation in audio intensity is needed. High resolution is not required. Therefore, the focus is on extracting important features. Figure 5 shows the process used to obtain a simpler signal for processing. The signal is performed in real time, meaning each sample obtained by ADC goes through this process and storing audio data and working with in a Windows is computationally expensive for the microprocessor. In comparison to the unprocessed audio, the weight of the audio after processing is significantly reduced. This phenomenon is due to the optimization of signal representation using techniques such as resolution reduction and encoding to 1 byte or 8 bits, resulting in more efficient transmission without compromising the integrity of relevant information. Below is a comparison of the two signals over 3-second interval 1. The result of the signal processing, including the respiratory frequency, are directly displayed on the LCD screen connected to the ESP32. This provides real-time feedback for the user. Simultaneously, the processed data is transmitted via Bluetooth to the mobile phone. This transmission enables the visualization of information in a dedicated mobile application as shown in Figure 9. I'm a mistake, Figure 9, the mobile application. Well, the conclusion, the ability to monitor respiratory frequency continuously and not invasively presents a potentially significant impact on the healthcare, from monitoring post-operative patient to sleep assessment. The implementation of audio signal compression achieves an efficient compression rate of 95%, significantly reducing file size. This optimization not only saves storage space but also streamlines data transmission, crucial for the real-time applications such as respiratory frequency detection. The signal processing approach with lower computational load ensures efficient performance on device with limited recursos, such as microcontroller, improving the overall system effectiveness. Additionally, the device has greater versatility by being adaptable to various body locations. While its initial placement is designed for the neck, there are flexible options for breath detection. Therefore, we have designed the device so that it can be easily adapted to the nose or be placed directly on the back, expanding its usage possibility and providing user and healthcare professional with customized option based on their specific respiratory monitoring needs. This is all. Uh, yeah, this is all. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. I have one question, if I may. So you said you have this hardware part of your device and you have application on your mobile device and connection is Bluetooth. So the patient can read his data on his mobile. So what is connection with the doctor on the other side? Can the doctor in real time see the state of the patient? Do you plan to develop some application for doctor to see the results or data in real time?
Sorry for my English, it's not good, but and now the application is it works in via Bluetooth, and then the doctor needs to stay in the same room. But the information is in the cell phone that can be sent for internet, and the doctor in any place can be analyze the signal or see the information. But and now it's only you can see in the application on cell phone via Bluetooth. The doctor need to stay in the same room for now.
Okay. Thank you very much for the answer.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. If there aren't any questions, we'll move forward to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you very much.
So the next presenter is Indira Del Ma'am Rosario. If ma'am you are present in the meet, please let us know. She'll be presenting on the paper title Enhancing Telehealth Patient Experience with Emotion-Sensitive Large Language Models. Ma'am, if you're in the meet, please let us know. We'll just wait for a few seconds for her. Okay, I think she's not present right now. There might be some issue. It's okay. We'll move on to the next presenter. So the next presenter is Ricardo Gonzalez, sir. Sir, if you're present in the meet, please let us know.
Good morning, everyone. Now is my video.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone. We will to speak about now share screen. You will see the slides.
Yes, we do.
Okay. I will talking about the management model for the reduction of particulate matter emission peaks supported by sensor networks and energy resources of electric vehicles. My name is Ricardo Gomez.
I'm so sorry for the mispronunciation, sir.
You listen? You listen me?
No, sir, you can continue with the presentation. Sorry for the interruption.
Yes, you will see the presentation, yes. We continue with the next. Here proposes a management model that facilitates the reduction of environmental pollution rate using a network of monitoring stations with low-cost sensors. This sensor network will be supported by electric vehicles equipped with portable electrostatic precipitators. Methodologically, the design of the management model and its operation have been carried out based on the unified modeling language. And an objective function has been proposed to determine the optimal way to use the EV resources available in the city area that requires intervention. Yes, in this presentation along electric vehicles, I will say as EV and portable electrostatic precipitators as PE. This is a photograph of the Bogota City during the emergency in January of 2024. This map displays the geographic location of the station that comprise the air quality monitoring network on the city of Bogota. Air pollution has caused an estimated 750 deaths in Bogota in 2024. Air pollution also cost approximately 250 millions of US dollar in Bogota in 2024. These tables presents the statistical information on the impact of air pollution on human health and economic outcomes for the top 5 cities in the world. The total deaths of these 5 cities are 163,000, and the total costs invest in mitigation is 85.1 billion of US dollars. Those 5 cities represent only 1.7% of the world population. In this table, the AQI levels can be appreciated by degree of pollution in a color code with the respective values for PM 2.5 and PM 10 in the city of Bogota. Environmental emergencies due to air pollution occurred in February 2019. Or in the February of 2022, and the latest in January, no, excuse me. In the city of Bogota, environmental emergencies due to air pollution occurred in February 2019, February 2022, and the latest in January 2024 due to forest fires in the eastern hills. Now, a classification of PM by size is present, along with a brief review of the health damages caused by this air pollutant. Two, it shows the health impact of the PM10. Between others, we have irritation of the airways, choking and difficulty breathing, reduced lung function, aggravated asthma, infant respiratory mortality, and irregular heartbeat. Next, in this figure, we have a perspective of the PM10 and PM 2.5 pollutants is shown compared with human hair, and the fine beach sand. Now we observe the historic evolution of PM10 emissions generated by stationary sources in the city of Bogota for the period between 2008 and 2020. The graph shows that the largest amount of PM10 is produced by brick kilns and coal boilers under the 100 BTU, and there is also a trend towards reduction as a result of measures taken by the local government. In these slides shows the evolution of the historic evolution of PM10 emission generated by vehicles in the Bogota city, as seen in the previous slide. Besides the vehicles, other causes of pollution would include factories, including the numerous brick factories located in the far south, running on the old fossil fuels such as coal. There are two main factors causing elevated levels of pollution. This is the general structure of the management system composed of applications in the cloud computing space, monitoring system, low-cost PM10 sensors, a select area to be monitored, the EV charging stations, the electric cars located at homes of inhabitants of the area, the electric cars that are outside the area and are called to attend emergencies. In this slide, we can see the sequence diagram that illustrates the operation of the management system. Initially, the environmental monitoring network supported by low-cost sensors sends the information to the cloud management system. Then the system checks with electric vehicles are available in the coverage area and sends a request message asking the EVs if they are available to provide the service. This message is also sent to the EV charging stations. Both the vehicles and the charging stations respond to the message by either accepting or denying the availability. The management system consolidates the results of the available resources and sends the vehicles with electrostatic precipitators to the affected area. Two objective functions were proposed to establish how to achieve optimal use of EV and available charging stations in the area of interest to reduce the PM10 levels, whose terms are presented in this slide. This is the two objective function design. The first, there are two phases to the mitigations. In the first phase, the activation of electrostatic precipitators is carried out using the power of electrostations. FAE is established to give a priority is to which electrostations will enter first to supply the electrostatic precipitators, where FO1 is the objective function for the dispatch or connection of electrostatic precipitators, with supply from the power of electrostations located in the area to be intervened. The second mitigation phase is that additional to activation of EVs located at close distances, sum of the powers supplied by electric stations, the sum of power supplied by the EV must be higher than the estimated power of the electrostatic precipitators necessary to mitigate the peak of PM10 emissions. Here we can observe the objective functions for electric vehicles, taking into account their power and location. Similarly, the power of the EV charging stations. FAE is the binary variable to evaluate the presence of an alternate energy source, FAE, close to the electric station. Decision making in the management system starts from the subjectivity of the electric vehicle owners. They can decide whether to collaborate or not in the mitigation of the environmental issue. This image displays the interface of the air mode program used to simulate the dispersion of PM10 based on the data collected by the management center. The measurement is taken before and after the intervention of the electric vehicles. And this screenshot illustrates the request of our input meteorological and terrain data on the area target for intervention. Next. Finally, this graph shows the information displayed on the screen for the input of parameters associated with point sources of PM10 emission. This is, in this map of the city of Bogota, the area that has taken as the subject of a study to apply the management model is highlighted in the red circle, whereas the circle in the lilac indicates the area the call will be made to EV to come to assist in mitigating the PM environmental emergency. This graph shows the emission levels of particulate matter before the intervention of the management system. We can see a peak of 4.5 micrograms by cubic meters. Then we can see the estimation of emission levels of particulate matter after intervention of the management system, where we can observe a peak of 3.5 micrograms by cubic meters, a reduction in the PM dispersion. The proposed management system model is based on a future scenario of massification of electric vehicles, which allows them, based on their energy resources, to serve as mitigating elements of environmental problems, such as the occurrence of peak emissions of particulate materials. Thank you so much for everyone. That's all of my presentation.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. If there are any questions, may I proceed to the next presentation?
I have one question, if I may. So
Yes, ma'am.
can your model calculate the time that is needed to decrease the pollution rate? So if you are sending request, do you know the time needed to solve the problem with pollution rate, or you basically read the data on the station and then decide that the intervention is finished? Okay, we can move on to the next
Ricardo, sir,
presentation.
I think is not in the meet. There might be some issue. I think we'll proceed to the next presentation. So the previous presenter was Indira ma'am. Indira ma'am, I think you have joined the meet now.
Sorry, is my turn?
Yes, sir. You're the fourth presenter, but since the third presenter was not there, so we just continued. Okay, if Indira ma'am is not present, we'll start with your presentation, sir.
Oh, sure.
Okay, sir. So the next presenter will be Christian, sir, and the paper title is Solar Radiation Predictions in the UTEQ based on Machine Learning Models. So you may start with your presentation now. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Oh, sure. I'm going to share my screen, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the screen? Share the screen. Can you see it?
Yes, sir. We can see your screen.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Well, hi everyone. My name is Cristian Zambrano Vega. I am professor of the State Technical University of Quevedo, Ecuador. And today we are going to introduce our research paper titled Solar Radiation Prediction in the UTEQ based on machine learning models. The author collaborators are the PhD by Oviedo, the engineer Jordi Anchundia Troncoso, the master Angel Torres, and Mark. Okay, this is our content table. We are going to talk about a short introduction about the topic, and after that we are going to talk about the materials and the methods that we had applied in this research. And then we are going to show our results and we are going discussing about them. And finally, we are going to illustrate our conclusions and what are our future works. Okay, begin. The solar radiation is a critical source of energy for the Earth, powerfully influences climate, weather patterns, and renewable energy productions. This research explored the effectiveness of various machine learning models used to predict solar radiation at the central campus of our State Technical University of Quebec. Accurate prediction of solar radiation is essential for optimizing the efficiency of solar energy system and managing energy resources effectively. Now, we are going to talk about the materials and the methods that we had applied in our research. Data collection. Preliminary data was obtained from a pyranometer, strategically located on the upper part over one academic building of the central campus at the State Technical University of Quebec. This pyranometer continuously recorded solar irradiance data since 2020, offering a comprehensive data set encompassing various weather conditions and temporal variation. As we see in the picture, we can see the sensor located in the upper part of one academic building. Data set resume. The data set was composed by the following variables. Solar radiance, it represents the solar radiation intensity in watts per square meter units. And the second variable was ambient temperature, that represents the air temperature in Kelvin degrees, and the timestamp, who represents the date and the time of each measurement. As we can see in the table, we had a data set with more than 55,000 of records. The data measured by the pyranometer capture the data every 5 minutes. So we have a comprehensive data set to train our customized models. As we see, we select some variables like month, hour, irradiance, and temperature in Kelvin degrees. To conduct exploratory data analysis, we present two pictures in this figure. we present two pictures that illustrate the correlation between the time of the day and the temperature, as well as the relationship with the solar radiation, or our topic variable, our objective variable. In the image, in the left image, we can see the real solar radiation on one specific day, May 2 of 2020. In the x-axis, we represent the time of the day, and the y-axis, we represent the irradiance, the solar radiation. After that, we illustrate in our image the average temperature each hour of the day is represented like the size of the points. As we can see, the solar radiation in this picture, we can see, sorry, I'm going to mark, we can see that during night, there is not solar radiation because there is not sun, and during the day, we can see how the temperature is elevating and decreasing during the afternoon. Okay, we can see that the correlation, the high correlation between time of the day and the temperature with the solar radiances, because between more or highest temperature or hours during noon, at noon, the solar irradiance is high too. So there is a elevated correlation between these variables. In the right pictures, we can see average temperature in Celsius degree per time of the day and month. In the x-axis, we illustrate the time of the day, and the y-axis, we can illustrate the month. In our country, the first month of the years, January, February, March, April, there is winter in our country, and during the month of July, August, September, October is a summer time in our country. So during the winter, the temperature are very high. Yeah. The temperature during noon are very high, but during summer, the temperature is lowest than winter time. So we can see that during noon, the temperature are lowest. So with the aim of do explorative data analysis, we illustrate both images. So after define the correlation between the variables of our data sets, we define, and after that we choose the best algorithm to build our predictive model. We carry out a comprehensive comparative analysis using various machine learning algorithms. The algorithms included in our research were linear regression, polynomial regressions, k-nearest neighbors, decision tree regressor, super vector regression, random forest regressor, and gradient boosting regressions. To assess the performance of the built machine learning models predicting solar radiation levels, the following evaluation methods were applied: mean square error, MSE, the root mean square error, mean absolute error, and the coefficient of determination, square R. Okay. Next, in the next chapter, we are going to talk about the results that we have obtained in this research and a brief discussion about that. The result of the comparative analysis of machine learning models for predicting solar radiation are detailed in the next table. In the first column are detailed the models that we consider in our research: linear regression, polynomial regression, k-nearest neighbors decision tree, supervector regressor, kernel linear, and kernel RFBF, random forest regressor. This model is a supervector regressor with a kernel based on random forest regressor, and finally the gradient boosting regression. And the next column represents the evaluation metrics. As we can see, the gradient boosting regression show the most accurate values for each evaluation metrics. The in this picture, the performance of each model is marked by a green dot, and each value of the x-axis represents the technique that we use to build each model. As we can see in the picture, remarked with the red cycle, random forest regressor that represent these last 2 points in the x-axis, random forest and gradient boosting regressors show the best performance amongst the models, with the lowest MSE and RMS and NSE and RMSE values, as we can see in these 2 pictures, and represents the more efficient models, considering the NI metric, mean absolute error, and the coefficient of determination, square R. For a visual comparative analysis of machine learning models for predicting solar radiation, we can see in this picture how the models covers all the real data. The real data is represented with black points, and the predicted data is represented with red points. We can see that the last 2 graphics, who represents the random forest and gradient boosted models, indicate a superior predictive performance overperform this order with the highest square error and the lowest mean square error. We can see that this model covered almost
Sir,
all.
so sorry to interrupt you in the middle, but actually we have a time constraint. Can you please wrap it up and conclude your presentation so that we can start with the Q&A session?
Okay, thank you. Okay, to finally we illustrate the performance of the solar radiation prediction. We can see this graph represent our real data predicted, and the real data and the predicted data in this graph, and we can see that our gradient boosted model closely aligned with the real data, especially in the peak radiation hours. So with the aim of provide an easy tool to assess the performance of machine learning models, we have developed an interactive web application for solar radiation forecasting. In this web application, we illustrate the forecasting, a table with the day forecasting, with the temperature forecasting and the radiation prediction. Okay, and illustrate a graph with the prediction of the solar radiation. After that, we have added an option with the comparative to see how our model outperforms the real data. The real data is illustrated with red points, and the predicted data is represented with black points. We can select any date of our data set, and we can confirm the performance of our model. Okay, and finally, the conclusions of our research. This study demonstrated the viability of using machine learning model for predicting solar radiation at UDEQ, and the model is tested curiosity boosting regression exhibited superior performance, closely followed by random forest regression. These models effectively capture the nonlinear patterns in solar radiation, as evidenced by their low median square error and high square error values. The integration of these models into a user-friendly web application underscored their practical utility in real-time solar radiation forecasting. The future work that we have defined are enhancing the accuracy of the predicted model, integrating a larger data set with more diverse environment variables could provide a more comprehensive understanding of the factor influencing solar radiation. Furthermore, apply this model in other geographical locations to validate their generalizability and effectiveness. And finally, we have defined new tasks about real-world implementation, and get feedback could be crucial in refining the model, maximizing their utility. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? I want to.
Thank you, sir, for concluding your presentation. If there aren't any questions, may I start with the next presentation?
Yes, next presenter.
Yes, sir, I'll start right away. So the next presenter, I'm Miss Indira Del Rosario. Ma'am, I present in the meet now. Will you be able to present?
Yes, thank you.
The paper for my presentation is enhancing telehealth patient experience with emotion-sensitive large language models. Ma'am, I'll stop sharing my screen now, and you may continue with your presentation.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for the nice presentation. My name is Indira del Rosario. I'm a master's degree student of mechanical engineering at the University of Saskatchewan. I want to make sure that you can see my screen. The content of today's presentation, we will start with the...
We cannot see your screen. Have
Oh,
you shared?
We can see the screen right now. We can now.
Yes, right now we can see your screen.
perfect. Thank you. So we will have an introduction, then we will present the objectives of this research, the methodology implemented, experiments conducted, and what we found to be the challenges in future work, and then we will arrive to the conclusions. So as we may know, there has been a significant increase in the use of telehealth tools since the pandemic. Many of us have experienced this when we have been increasing the use of, for example, telehealth appointments. And the reason that this has increased is because there is a great advantage of telehealth that brings medical care to diverse population with unprecedented convenience. People don't have to go to the hospital and things like that. They can save time, and it makes the, for example, for people that live far from the hospital, it makes easier the process of getting health appointments. One of the main problems with telehealth tools is that there are extensive waiting time periods before consultation, and those waiting time periods can lead to patient anxiety and a sense of isolation. So during this research, we are proposing the use or exploring the use of large language model in telehealth platforms to reduce the patient anxiety and increase the satisfaction. We do this by using ChatGPT-4 for real-life emotion detection and dynamic background generation to improve the overall experience of the patient. For the emotion detection, we are doing data collection, collecting input from patients based on their expressions of their faces to classify the emotional content on the text and facial expression. And for the emotion analysis, ChatGPT-4 has the capability to analyze the expressions in the face of the patients. We do this with a real-time emotion detection where ChatGPT is used to process and make interpretation of the human expressions, including the facial cues to identify the emotional states, especially classifying them into six emotions that which are the most common, as we will see further in the next slides. For the background generation, we use ChatGPT to generate calming. This is moving. I'm not moving this. I'm not sure if. I'm sorry. The, the display is going like too fast. I'm sorry for that. So for the background generation, we use ChatGPT to generate calming, context-sensitive images. And since the ChatGPT can make the interpretation of the faces, it will generate the appropriate background to calm those emotions, and it's based on the principles in our experiments on the principles of color psychology. For the emotion detection through ChatGPT, we conducted experiments. In the first experiment, we used the FACES database from Max Planck Institute for Human Development, which consists of images from 171 individuals from several ages, and each of them was displaying the six facial expressions that are more common: neutrality, sadness, disgust, fear, anger, and happiness. Each of these images, we took them to ChatGPT with a prompt to identify the emotion, and the AI's responses were compared against the dataset's label. These are the results of experiment number 1. The system, the ChatGPT-4, demonstrated high level of accuracy in identifying the emotions, but there were some variance across some different emotions, like sadness, which was the lowest one with 58%. However, for anger, neutrality, happiness, disgust, and fear, results were very accurate. So the overall success rate was 92%. There are, yeah, some opportunities for improvement in some of the expressions that are more subtle, that are not so strong, like happiness. And this is influenced by cultural and individual differences in the forms to express sadness. For the second experiment and the dynamic background generation, we gave the emotion to ChatGPT-4 and asked the system to generate, according to the principles of psychology of color, some images that were soothing for the emotion. And the evaluation concluded that even when some many of the images, most of them, are effective, the personal and cultural differences can influence the preference. For example, The Serene Lake for anxiety is aligned with the color psychology principles. However, for some individuals, it can feel isolating. And also, for example, the cozy cabin that was generated for fear um, can be warm and inviting for some, but it also felt isolating for others depending on personal experiences. Some of the challenges that we faced during the implementation were for the emotion detection, the variance with ChatGPT 4 and its ability to detect some of the emotions that are not so strong. Um, and also for the background generation, while the backgrounds were effective, there's no such thing as one size fits all. For the future work, personal preference of the patient need to be considered. For the future work in emotion detection, we recommend exploring more nuanced AI training that includes diverse sets of emotional expressions and cultural context. And for the background generation, developing algorithms that can adapt therapeutic images to the individual patient profiles. As a conclusion, this study has demonstrated the innovative application of ChatGPT for in telehealth, the fact that ChatGPT can successfully detect emotions and generate visually therapeutic background, and the enhancement in patient experience. Moving forward, we envision the development of more sophisticated tools, AI trained tools on diverse data sets to encapsulate a broader spectrum of emotional expression and cultural differences. And the fact that the future telehealth service could adapt in real time to the feedback of the patient and adjust the therapeutic images to accommodate the individual preference and improve the outcomes, and leading to a more patient-centric model of care. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I have one question. You are using your chatbot to identify a level of anxiety, and you are using face database. So the communication between your chatbot and the patient is only visual, or you have some text communication between them?
During these experiments, we were doing it visually with the
Mhm.
images. For future work, it will also be a good consideration to run, for example, a survey to better understand the feelings of the patient.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your presentation. Now we'll go to the next presenter. So the next presenter is Ilok Bodhi, sir. Sir, if you're present, meet, please say something on the mic. Ilok, sir, present with us. I guess he's not in the meet right now. It's okay. We'll proceed to the next speaker. Samsa Roti, ma'am, are you with?
Yes, I'm here.
Sorry. If you're able to, sir, if you're able to present right now, will you please start with your presentation?
Yes, I can share my screen now.
Now you'll be share your screen.
Okay, can you see this now?
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
Good. So, good evening from Finland. I'm Sam Sarauti from University of Turku, and I'm presenting a paper on third-party data leaks on municipal websites. And nowadays, as we handle many everyday matters online, the privacy and confidentiality are very important. But at the same time, many online services often utilize these different third-party libraries, such as web analytics. And the real challenge here, of course, is that sensitive personal data may leak to these third parties. And when identifying data such as IP addresses and context revealing data, such as, for example, visited URL addresses are connected, this is a big problem for privacy. So in this paper, we studied these kinds of data leaks on Finnish municipal websites. And a Finnish data protection authority has actually emphasized that personal data should not leak without consent to third parties that may use it for commercial purposes. So this was also a basis for our study. So Finland has 309 municipalities, and each of these municipalities has their own website. And we studied these websites in terms of privacy. We analyzed whether the search terms that users input were leaked to third parties, and an automatic tool was developed for this network traffic analysis, and the tool automatically used search function on the studied websites and tested whether the search terms leaked to external parties. And it is also worth noting that in our experiment, no consent was given for data collection or cookies on these studied websites. And our study also involved contacting these municipalities that had inadequate privacy practices on their websites. And we focused on municipalities that were leaking personal data to Google or Meta, because in our opinion, that really poses the highest risk. And also we wanted to see whether these municipalities admitted these issues to us and committed to addressing privacy concerns on their websites. So then some results. First, we can see that over half of these studied municipal websites included some kind of third-party services, usually web analytics, and majority of websites with third-party services had a search function, with almost half of these studied websites leaking search terms to third parties without any consent. So this means that utilizing the search function on Finnish municipal website led to an almost 50% chance that the search query is disclosed to a third party without the user's consent. And of course, these leaked search terms can contain sensitive information, even medical conditions or something like that when the user is searching, for example, for a health service located in that municipality. And also almost a third of these studied websites did not even offer a refusal option for cookies and data collection, but still they sent data to third parties. And here we can see some third parties collecting search terms on these studied websites. And maybe the main takeaway from this picture is that Google, which is shown in blue, and Meta, which is shown in yellow, were the top recipients of these search term leaks. And Google, of course, was definitely the biggest data collector here. And about 43% of all of these studied municipal websites leaked these search terms to Google Analytics without consent. And we contacted 117 of these studied municipalities. Basically, we contacted ones that had Google Analytics or Meta Pixel on their websites. And 53 of these replied positively to us and promised that they will fix these privacy issues. And some challenges these municipalities mentioned in their replies to us were, for example, lack of resources and lack of technical skills to fix these privacy issues. And over 50% of the contacted municipalities removed these problematic analytics services within 3 months from their websites, and many others indicated that they plan to reassess these third-party analytics during some future updates. So, while not perfect, I'm pretty happy that we were able to cause some kind of change for the better on these websites. So, in conclusion, nearly half of the studied municipality websites in Finland leaked search terms without consent to the third parties. And of course, this is why the web developers should really conduct some kind of network traffic analysis and see what kind of data leaks their websites may contain. And it would also be a good idea to use locally deployable analytics tools, like, for example, Matomo, where the web page maintainer can control this collected data themselves and does not have to accept the fact that the data is sent to some kind of third party like Google or Meta. And we have also seen that despite being a significant reason for these data leaks, Google Analytics remains a widely used analytics service on these websites, and this is probably due to its popularity and ease of use and accessibility, but it also causes some serious privacy concerns. So there is need for greater awareness among developers and data protection officers about these online privacy related issues we introduced here, and also adherence to data protection laws and regulations would be very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have very interesting topic. I believe that most of your municipality didn't think that they are doing something wrong, and they didn't know that are responsible for those linking that you are mentioned.
Yes, that's definitely one issue that I didn't mention here, but I definitely got an impression that they really don't know that these third-party services collect this data for themselves. So they have not really put these services on their websites on purpose.
Yeah. So just one question. Maybe did you evaluate the privacy policy of these municipalities? Because in this document, it should be stated what the data will be collected or what the municipality will do with private data. They they include Google Analytics or not?
Right, this is a very good point. And in this study, we did not analyze these privacy policies, but definitely it should be mentioned there. But at the same time, because these municipalities don't really seem to know that these services collect this data, it is very likely that most of the municipalities do not mention Google Analytics or any other third parties. But this is definitely something that would be looked into in the future.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Now
you.
we'll move to the next one. Ilov, sir, are you present with us?
Yeah, I am here. Mrs., I am here.
Yes, sir. I request you to please start your presentation. This is the last presentation of today's session. The paper title for Ilov sir's paper is The Stages of Creation of IMS Models. Sir, I'll stop sharing my screen now, then you can start.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon or good evening. This is our presentation of the stage of creation of LMS models. So LMS is a learning tools used to increase the learning effectiveness of students. The development of LMS technology provides opportunities such as the structures of the learning strategies and individual presentation of learning materials for each student. A number of measures are being taken in the Republic on the way introduction learning to universities. In particular, there is a Center for Introduction Learning in Educational Institution under the Ministry of Higher and Secondary Special Education. Moreover, the development and implementation of integral part of e-government. The concept of the information system called HEMS is under way.
Today, the digital technology is making a big difference in education, skill and employment. There is development reflect how important technology is for education. It is a key factor is accelerating innovative changes in the educational process through the widespread introduction of digital technologies is hyper education. The model proposed by Kurkov can serve as basic for the development of quantitative indicator that characterize the potential of university in terms of the introduction and successful use of digital technology. So our discussion, the following shortcomings were figured out while analyzing most of the LMS. Firstly, insufficient functionality to organize and support the learning process that integrated our national education standard. Secondly, lack of Uzbek language support in LMS. Last one, our national standards is ensuring information security is learning are not taken in account. When creating LMS system, the LMS is divided in several components, group aspects, user functions, data, and communication. Based on this approach, LMS allows for the full implementation of process at all stages from design to support, and the use of standards based on project development and documentation. So in this diagram, the process of creating an information system of higher education is expressed. So next one, this in this diagram, the scheme of research of university activities are described. Here, the stage of creating an LMS system model is given. So there are several models, stage of creating an LMS models. Firstly, rapid adaptability to change in system functionality. Secondly, continuous operation of system, timely processing of user request. Third one, simplicity and easy of use and support. Last one, data security and user roles. Resultant robustness of LMS system are key factors is determining system efficiency. LMS system design cover three main areas. First, designing the data structure to be applied to the design. A database, authority software, screen forms, report in order to fulfill data request, specified environment or technology design, network topology, hardware configuration, architecture, parallel data processing, distributed data processing, and etc. Result, the introduction of information technology is higher education and the introduction of LMS system based on them leads to technologies development of the organization and increase efficiency. The expected results can be achieved through full compliance with the requirement and rules of the development, design, and implementation of information system in the achievement of the university management. LMS system processes divided two parts, basic processes and auxiliary processes. So, it's necessary to pay attention the subject are in the division of business processing into main and auxiliary part. Process identification is one of the key steps, and automation of higher education can't be done with this step. The management of the university must know that the re-engineering of activities must be carried out in the implementation of LMS. The following basic rules should be followed during the re-engineering processes. Firstly, step-by-step development of reproducing for process design. Next one, use of standards, language, and notation in design. Next one, access or measure the conformity of the redesigning process or functionality, appropriate functionality of heuristic and pragmatic indicators. Use a systematic approach to solving problems under the system. System should have an immediately effect. Process and function reengineering begins with the review of universities' proposed structures, internal and external requirement. Business processes reengineering is given here. The description of business processing provides following. Formation of basic scheme of flow of data, actions, finance, and documents. Identification of department and user carry out business processes. Description of the data exchange between LMS models and processes. Next one, identification of confidential information to manage LMS activities. Last one, identification of copied structures and connection. The result of the above description of the process is as follows. Improve process map, the link matrix of process and department associated with this process. Information on exist information system, notes on the what processes need to be updated and what processes need to be developed. Data follow, workflow, cache follow, control follow, and doc follow. Follow business processes re-engineering scheme. In conclusion, it is advisable to form LMS system based on several group of components: user, function, data, and communication. The creation of information system based on the stage of creation of the LMS model described in the article will allow to university to introduce digital technologies in the educational process on a large scale and increase the effectiveness of education. Thank you for your attention.
Can I ask a
Thank you,
question?
sir, for your presentation. Yes, ma'am, you can ask.
I want to ask, has the LMS model developed by you been used anywhere?
Thank you for question. Yeah, this model, this LMS system is worked in our national university and Seoul. Maybe you know. This LMS models use it.
Thank you, it's clear.
Does anyone have any more questions, or should I proceed to the closing remarks? I guess I should proceed to the closing remarks. Okay. So first of all, I sincerely thank our authors for the excellent presentations and contributions in these sessions, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. We, on the behalf of the whole team, thank you for the support during the ninth version and all the previous 8 versions of the conference. We hope we will be happy to see you in the 10th version in 2025. All the presenters would be getting their digital certificates through email within 2 working days. Further, all the papers have already been forwarded to the Springer. The publication will be live within 6 months. Kindly cooperate with our team of ICICT. I would also want to thank the session chairs. Mr. Just a second, I'll just share the screen. I would like to thank the session chairs for this session, Professor Bharat Singh and Professor Renata. Thank you so much for being with us. And a token of appreciation to the chair on the behalf of Team ICT 2024 and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partners. Thank you all for your valuable presence. And before leaving the meet, just one last thing. I would kindly request to all the participants and the chairs to please turn on your cameras so that I can take a quick snapshot of this session. Thank you so much, ma'am. Can you please all turn on your cameras? Uh, yes. We'll just wait for a few seconds till all the cameras are on so that I can take a.
Please, can wait
Okay.
one moment.
Yes, yes, sir. Obviously, you can
I'm so
wait.
sorry, I was busy.
Yes, sir.
Give me a minute, please.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. I'm ready.
Okay. Sir, are you ready? Okay. Now I'll take a snapshot. Thank you everyone for this lovely session. Now you may end the meeting now.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.